Julie is the owner of Possibility Life Coaching. She has been coaching for several years, and Julie and I met through coaching probably around 5 years ago, I would say. And we have similar experiences in life. We have the ups and downs. And Julie, I'd like to invite you to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Patricia. First of all, Patricia, thank you for letting me be here and speak to your audience and my audience. I have been coaching, I guess, since 2002, and my business, Possibility Life Coaching for Women, I help women live better lives. So, that's different for you, for me. All of us have a different, better life. And today's topic is a huge one because women, really, the topic of self-care is a huge topic now, and it's something that I work with all my clients. When you go through a challenge like cancer, or I'm also diabetic on the insulin pump, which I deal with every day, and I always say if you have to pick a disease, diabetes is a good one because you live a long, good life, and you just have to really self-care, which is diet, sleeping, exercise, the body, and then also for the soul, the meditation, and for the psyche is just, keeping those thoughts positive versus negative.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I mean, we both have gone through that challenge, and I don't want to say that, oh, I'm so happy I went through my challenge, which, I would have preferred not to. But having had that challenge, I am a stronger woman. As you can see in the background here, this is the slogan of my business, which is be your own hero. And I really, through those challenges, had to be my own hero.
Tell us a little more about when you're speaking to your clients, how do you get them to understand that concept of being their own hero?
Okay, so I think we have to be our own hero so many times in life. Self-care, yes, you got to get that eating healthy. We don't talk about dieting at Possibility. We talk about eating healthy, and we have to eat healthy. We have to get some sleep, which is a huge challenge for me. I'm a Netflix lover, and especially from midnight on. So really have to work on that one. But and the other area is your sleep, your diet, and your exercise, and getting out there. I mean, I try to get out for my walk every day, and it is being my own hero, getting myself out there. Not only with our bodies, we also have to have being our hero with setting boundaries with people, creating healthy relationships for ourselves. And it seems that I attract a lot of really kind HSPs, like highly sensitive women, and they often are the givers, and being a giver is so wonderful, and it's what we all need to do. But we also have to be our own hero, which I think there's one question that really helps women, and that is this healthy for me?
Yeah.
Relationship, what you're about to put into your mouth. Let's see, what else can there be? Just how you're living your life. Is this job healthy for me? Now, I always tell my clients, do not drop your day job. Like you have to put the roof above your head. But if your job is toxic for you, that's an area to look at.
Now, you do use a wheel of life in coaching.
Yeah. If anybody wants that, they can just email me and I will send it to them. We have, I'll just read them off: physical environment, friends and family, health, money, career, partners, relationship, fun and enjoyment, personal growth, spiritual growth, learning. Those are just one wheel of life. There's different variations on the theme. As we see here, be your own hero for all those areas.
Yeah.
All those areas, yeah.
I think that's very helpful to illustrate to women that we have many different areas of life, and we've been talking so many years about balancing our life, and balancing basically gives me a picture of two things, whereas we've got many areas of our life that if we don't balance, like people encourage us to. The other thing that comes up is that we feel less than because we can't balance all those areas. So I like to look at it as being integrating the best parts of those lives, even though one part may feel out of balance at some point, the other parts of our lives can support that, right? And I'm thinking of self-care in particular, like when you are caring for someone else, say caring for parents, caring for children, that can feel like it's taking away the opportunity for us for self-care. But that is actually when we need to bump up our self-care, because we can easily get lost and it'll all go haywire, right? And I've explained this before. One of the times when I neglected my self-care was when I really needed it. And that was when I had lost with my parents and taking care of my parents. And so could you say a little more about one of your other concepts that we hear a lot of, and that is self-care is put the mask on your face first before you help anyone else. Can you say a little more about how you feel about that particular concept?
Totally. And Patricia, you just said so many important things. It's me first, not instead of.
Oh,
Now, I will repeat that because
oh,
it's got a little twist there. It's me first, not instead of. And focus on self is important. You teach your children. I was speaking with a woman the other day who feels bad for her kids that she neglects them. Neglect and was her word, but neglect because she was doing a little self-care. It's not neglect. We make sure that the kids are left with somebody who is really loving and caring, but we take the time out for ourselves and then we come back a better mom. I always say mothers are better mothers when they have some help, whether it's the grandmother or hired help, whatever it is, especially motherhood, because motherhood is so 24/7,
yeah, so demanding. Yeah.
so demanding. And
Hmm.
I want to comment on one thing you said, which was this balance idea. Now, some people will say you can get balance, some people will say you can't. I would say there are times in my life when I have balance, and there are so many times in my life I don't.
Hmm.
But there is an overall balance. It's the wheel of life. Bring that out again. There we go. You have to have a balance, a minimum standard of balance. This comes from my rabbi, actually, Rabbi Niven. It's a minimum, what do we call it? I have it written down here, a minimum standard of life balance. Or, and this is the key, or you're going to have emergencies. If you let your finances slip and you end up in debt, your own mental health is going to be suffering along with your finances. Let's see which other areas we've got here. Your physical environment, everything is going to be topsy-turvy. So really, it's a minimum standard of balance. But we will have parents, as you say, who are elderly and need our help. We will have little kids if we're a young mom. So, we will always have things that will challenge our balance, but minimum standards have to remain.
Hmm. And I like the word standard, as all my colleagues know. So, minimum standards for self-care, for balance, or integrating different areas of your life. I think that's really important. Things do you bring to your coaching practice to help women on the topic of self-care?
Okay, so a huge one. And I have to say, over the board, like I have clients from all different ages, everything. But I would say self-compassion and self-love are the two missing ingredients for most women. Now, we're not talking about ego love. We're not talking about, I am so fantastic and great. But you can feel that I am really, I am worthwhile. I contribute to the world. Nobody is going to be the same as you, and you're not going to be the same as other people.
Mm.
One of my big slogans is what other people think of me is none of my business.
Yeah,
And, and I didn't make that up. I forget who it is, but it's like,
it's a good one, though.
I need to make this healthy decision for myself. But, what are people going to think? Well, we hope people think well of us, and
Mhm.
everyone should also mind their own business. That's what I say. I don't know what anyone else is doing, and I don't want to know what it's their business unless they call me in and say, Julie, I'd like to talk to you about something. And
Mhm.
that's my business.
Mhm.
So, yes, it is really that self-compassion, self-care. I actually have a 3-week course on it because I saw that with all the women, where a lot of us are missing that piece.
Mhm. One thing that I encourage women to do is to carry a photo of themselves as a little girl with them. And it's so easy now because you can put it on your phone. And talking about like, what would you do for this little girl? Like, what's best for this little girl? So right now I have a photograph that's moved from another room into my room. And I think I'm about 9 months old in this picture.
Oh my gosh.
And I look at that little girl, well, baby, actually, and say, that's when the compassion comes out when you see a little baby, right? Or when you see a little girl struggling with something, you want to help her. So how is it best to help her? And you are the caregiver or the custodian of that little girl.
Absolutely.
Would you make her stay up late at night to finish her homework or watch Netflix? or, or would you let her go out the door in the morning without some kind of breakfast? There's a lot of things. Or would you know you put boundaries around that little girl so people cannot abuse her emotionally or physically or that sort
Would
of
you
thing. So
would you have people speak to her the way
yeah.
some people are speaking, and would you stand up for her? And it's that
Yes.
standing up. We have to, there's a lot of talk about power, like own your power. You have to own your power, and sometimes owning your power is just speaking up, standing up. And those are, I find with my clients, those are like really big quantum leaps that happen because
Yeah.
it's like, wow, I stood up for myself.
I think that's really important, to standing up for yourself.
And with dignity, never against anybody. That's a big emphasis in the work I do. It's like we don't stand up because, oh, I'm going to tell this person off. No, it's like if that person is speaking rudely to you, you speak up for yourself and then also create those boundaries. Anyone who is being rude to you, generally, those are not the people who you want in your front lines of friendship.
That's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, you know what? We've explored quite a few elements of self care today that's not typically written in articles. You and I, off camera, have talked about other types of self care that's being promoted, such as, like, spending money on something to make yourself feel good. But I think we got really deep with some of the concepts today, and I want to thank you very much. I know you do amazing work with the women, and you have a great following of women. So obviously, you are fulfilling that need. I want to invite anyone who's watching this video. I will be posting Julie's website and her social media below. Please go onto her website, see what Julie's up to, subscribe to her newsletter because she's always coming out with some really good things on. I noticed on Facebook, Julie, you bring up some really
I
good.
have to say, I'm on Facebook now. I stopped the newsletter. This is
Okay.
this is a piece of self-care for people. There are things that people do and patterns. Like the newsletter for us coaches is a big thing. But I was finding it stressful. So I
Yeah.
stopped it. And you know what? It is knowing what works for you and doing it. So my Facebook, I have over 3,000 women now who follow me, and it's such an honor.
Wow.
Yeah, like daily giving advice, and you know, several of those come to me as clients, and it's just such an honor. But the point of this is know what works for you and do it, and don't do things because other people are.
Other people are doing it.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Patricia. I did when I did have my newsletter. Thank you for acknowledging that. I've just recently stopped it.
Okay, good to know. And it brought out a real good point, right, Julie? Is that it wasn't working for you. So, us comparing ourselves with other coaches and how they're running their business, or other people how they're running their business, it's not necessarily what's best for us.
Exactly.
So that I'm glad I brought that up because that brought out another very important point. Thank you, Julie. It's been a great conversation today, and I know a lot of people are going to benefit from listening to your concepts on self care and your perception of what we need to do to take care of ourselves.
Thank you, Patricia. You're an amazing coach.
Thank you very much.